who am I? If you haven't already subscribed, click the button at the bottom right and click the notification bell, and you will be informed when I upload new content. Ramana Maharishi, 1879 to 1950, was an Indian Hindu sage who practiced a path of self-enquiry to attain self-awareness. And the famous phrase he suggested using to start that path of self-enquiry is, who am I? And it's not a question to be answered, it's a question to be explored. Because the more one inquires into that statement, and the deeper one goes to find out the answer to who am I, the less and less one finds to hold on to, the less substance there seems to be. There's the surface level answer to the question, who am I, of course, that we can all give. And that includes our name and our relationship to other people and our profession, or what we do to make money, our job. Not everyone has a profession. Our likes and dislikes. What makes us a bit quirky or different, perhaps? Maybe we have some interests, maybe some creativity, maybe we paint or draw, or we like gardening, or we like fast cars, or we like exploring the countryside. Perhaps we have a list of mountains that we want to conquer, both literally, but also perhaps goals within our own life that we can plot on a chart, and we can say to ourselves and perhaps others, these are our landmark achievements. This is who I am. And people then define themselves by these surface level attachments and compare themselves with other people based on these attachments, and they are defined by them. So that's who am I, and that's just scratching the surface of the question. But of course I am calling those surface level answers because potentially there's a greater depth to the inquiry into who am I, and for that we need to dive deeper below the surface drama of our lives. And we could start by saying, well, I'm a human being, I'm a mind-body unit, I'm a person. We could look at the psychology behind ourselves, our conditioned mind, and we could give a nod to our subconscious process, the part of us that we are unaware of, that has been formed through our experiences thus far, and we may have a faint sense of that within us, that there are places that we might want to explore in terms of our experience in the past and our connection to other people and our connection to ourselves. That's the psychological world where counsellors and psychotherapists can guide you. And then, of course, there's the fact that we seem to be, and it's very difficult to suggest otherwise. We seem to be these individual, unique, isolated biological organisms. The body, the human being, the animal that we are at our core. If we are cut, we bleed. There is pain. We can feel pain from the external world through psychological pain and suffering, of course, and anxiety and stress. But of course, if we trip and sprain our ankle, then that tells us also we are not just the things that affect us in our mind, in our psyche, but we are a body, a human being, a living, breathing organism that needs to protect and needs to feed and grow, needs shelter and water. This would become apparent, of course, if I was dropped into these woods for a week and it wasn't just a couple of hours in between a safe place to go back to and a meal and water. But if I had to actually survive here, then I would soon come to realize that actually, maybe first and foremost, I am a biological creature that needs to survive. And so already we're dropping beneath the surface level, and we're looking at maybe our biology, our physiology, the fact that we are living, breathing creatures that by and large have the comforts not to be confronted with having to survive in the world in terms of eating and drinking and shelter. Most of us are fortunate enough not to have those concerns, but also that we are, in a sense, our psychology and our past and our history. And so these two areas are perhaps a little bit deeper than the things that we name and that we attach to. These are maybe more fundamental. But then I could suggest that perhaps we could dive deeper still and find out, well, this body, this biological organism, what is animating it? What is it inside that gives me the sense of being present and being aware? What is consciousness? What is my awareness? How does that arise from the physical side, from my brain? Does it arise from my brain? There are videos on the channel, one called Consciousness and several others that delve into that specific question. But we can then say, well, what is it that animates us? Yes, as a biological organism we need food, water and shelter, and we have the Maslow hierarchy of needs, and that is the base needs, and they are, fortunately for many people, a given. But what is animating this sentient creature? What gives me the pure, unfiltered awareness to be present and to be aware of my own existence? What is that? And where does that come from? Is that me, or is it arising from the physical body that I call me? And so now I would suggest that we are in the realm of the Indian sages and gurus like Ramana Maharishi and Nisargadatta Maharaj and many others who have then gone deep with this question and keep the spiritual aspirant on their toes by continually asking them, well, what comes before that? What comes before that? What comes before that? And as we keep stepping back to try and find the source of that question, who am I, we end up in a place that we are unfamiliar with and perhaps an unknown territory, something that we can then start to explore. What is it that is animating this sense of being alive, of being present. What is it that is within me now, creating the idea of the present moment? And the non-dual awareness suggests that this is a place of ultimate reality, of oneness, where consciousness is the ground of being, and that we are that. And this gets tricky then, of course, to conceptualize and intellectualize, particularly for the Western mind steeped in traditional left brain logic. We can perhaps go as far as understanding our biology and perhaps our psychology, but this area then is suggesting that we are something beyond those things. And not only that, that this thing that is beyond those things, this no thing, this emptiness, this absolute, pure conscious awareness, is the ground of all beings. So the ground of my being is the same as the ground of your being, which is the same as the ground of everything that is unfolding and manifesting in front of us, that we are all one.